My guest today is a very special lady. She wears flowers in her hair, would give a run for their monies to all the yesteryear heroines. An interior designer by profession, I simply love her personal chambers where we are shooting right now. And status-wise, she is my mother-in-law figure. And otherwise, she is a friend, philosopher and guide. Please welcome Mrs. Neelam Joy Mukerji. Hi Neelam.
Hi Sabi, how are you?
Welcome
Sorry,
on
I
the
should be
show.
calling you Gehna.
No, not at all. You have to call me Savvy, which is my pen name and a pet name, and that's how I'm addressed by all my elders and some work people.
Welcome to my little abode, my humble abode.
It's my pleasure completely, and this joy is really, really lovely.
Thank you.
Cheers to our tender.
Cheers to with the tea.
Yes, with the tea. So tell me.
And what I inherited from my mother, this old English.
It's so
property.
beautiful, so beautiful.
You see, I am vintage.
Yes.
So everything in my little abode you'll find vintage.
Oh,
Now,
everyone should be
because
vintage
I'm
like you.
completely ancient.
No, please, not at all. Tell me, we've just finished lovely Durga Puja where I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Tell me, you've completed 2 decades and a couple of years doing Shiv Ranjani.
Yes, 23 years precisely. And,
Wow.
Must say, long journey from
Yes.
scratch,
Yes.
and a lot of trials and tribulations. The puja seems to have been set now, and I think that is all Ma's doing, because Ma does a puja herself.
Absolutely.
And Ma is Shakti, and when Shakti is there and the blessing is there and she wants a puja, it will be done.
Absolutely.
And that is how people tell us that it's a miracle that you have existed 23 years with no sponsors or donors.
Yeah.
But I just smile and say it is all Ma's doing, because she wants a puja, so it's happening.
I agree completely. But how did it all begin? Tell our viewers the journey. How did Shiv Ranjani happen first in your mind and then in Yari Road?
It's a long story,
Yeah.
but not so long. But Shiv Ranjani just happened. It was an idea being tossed between me and Mrs. Meena Thakre, Balasab's wife, whom we fondly all called Ma.
Acha.
And she said, why don't we do something? Something should be done. And as she was a very spiritual and religious person, she wanted to do something, something which was religious, something which had connection
Meaning,
with
yeah,
pujas.
and meaning, yeah.
And some connection with pujas. And she had her, what we call as the Kul Devi, which was a Devi, mother incarnate. So she wanted to do something with Ma. And we both hit upon this, let's call it Shiv Ranjani.
Beautiful.
And we had a little idea that Shiv Ranjani would be Shiv ko Ranjan karne wali.
Ji.
But then it was her husband Balasab who said, do you know what Shiv Ranjani also stands for? What does it stand for? It stands for peace, love and harmony.
I didn't know that.
And we were taken aback. Why peace, love and harmony? He said, do you know anything about Indian classical music? I said, sort of. He said, one of the rags is Shiv Ranjani.
Oh.
And it is a favorite rag of all our music composers in Bollywood.
I
Because
see.
most of the famous bhajans have been composed on Shiv
Shiv
Ranjani.
Ranjani.
One of them is Jara Samne To Aap Chaliye.
Arey wow.
Chup chup chalne.
How lovely.
So that is how Shiv Ranjani came into being.
How lovely.
And before it was supposed to be, it still is, it started off as a charitable sanstha, a charitable trust. It's a duly registered trust with a charity commissioner.
Right.
And never thought that pujas would even become part of it. In fact, identity of Shiv Ranjani, which have, over the years, pujas seem to have taken over Shiv Ranjani.
Yes.
Though Shiv Ranjani has done a lot of relief work, when we had the earthquake in 2000 in Gujarat, we were right there in Maharashtra camp in Bachau, and we were given charge of 11 villages, where we would go take inventories, what is to be distributed, what has been distributed, And this work we would do in coordination with the punchers, you know, the punch people over there, and the sarpanch of the
Right.
and then coordinated with the local collector.
Yeah.
And accordingly, our trucks would go around distributing.
Right.
And also, we took over then, midway we took over the task of getting in traumatized children. We had a tie-up with a hospital here, so Indian Airlines would fly them over free of cost. And we are volunteers.
This is all extension of Shivranjani.
Shivranjani,
Okay.
and they would get treatment here.
I see.
So in our own way, we raised a lot of funds
Right.
for the earthquake affected.
Right.
And for several years our work was continuing, and proudly I can say that the villages were rehabilitated.
Oh, nice.
Right from next to Samakheli, we have Morpur, from Morpur Gaon to right up to Mota Vila, Chota Vila. And all these villages we had under our jurisdiction.
Right.
Thereafter then, when the tsunami hit Kadulo, Shivranjani was at Kadulo. Then during the, Shivranjani also did a bit of work during the, you know, when Orissa had this cloud burst.
Right.
And then privately we have been doing a lot of work, like we have taken care of the education of 4 children in Patna in Bihar, when it was Lalu Prasad Yadav's Raj, as they say.
Right.
And for several years the PSUs, you know, they were not paying their salaries. And one of the boys, Chandan Bhattacharya, immolated himself in front of
Oh my
in
God.
front of the Vidhan Sabha. After writing letters to the then President and the then Prime Minister and to the then Chief Minister Lalu Prasad. And he was a student and pursuing his studies, but his mother died of cancer. His father was not paid for several years and ultimately died also. When Chandan immolated himself, Indian Express took over that case, and I got in touch with their correspondents there. And his younger brother was all 16 to 18 years old, Amar Bhattacharya, and 2 sisters. One was still just in school. So on and off, whenever we kept track of their education, and we kept, so today they all are settled. The girls, 2 of them are married. One has got her computer data office, and Amar has got computer data office. One of them has turned into a lawyer.
How nice. Tell us about your work with RSS. You were heading the women's...
No, I'm not heading the women's wing as someone would like to be in RSS. But RSS has a tributary called for social work only, the Jan Kalyan Samiti.
Right.
And I am the Vice President of Jan Kalyan Samiti in one of the Vibhags in Maharashtra.
Okay.
In this city.
Okay.
So Jan Kalyan Samiti, if you go on the net and write RSS Jan Kalyan Samiti, you will find the kind of work they have done. Tremendous work. But as you know that RSS itself is a very low profile organization, and
So
Jan Kalyan also is a very low profile.
Right.
They don't even tom-tom anything what they do.
Right.
Jan Kalyan Samiti is spread all over India and has 1,200 projects going on at this point all over India, as far as Manipur, as far as Sikkim. And a lot of work they have done for the drought-hit farmers in Maharashtra. A lot of blood banks, then there are a lot of free schools for the children who are abandoned, Viklang children, schools for them. You just go on the net and you will get the whole
I
thing.
will definitely check, and I'm sure all our viewers will do
So
the same.
now over here also we have a center in Goregaon, where at ₹1 we rent out to the lower strata, the unprivileged people who have broken bones or who need crutches or a wheelchair or a stretcher at just ₹1 rent. Our center is at distribution center is in Goregaon, so we distribute from there.
Okay.
And then we have free yoga classes for the slum children every Sunday.
I remember you telling me One of the Sundays.
yoga
where,
classes, and in fact on the 29th or maybe the 19th, 29th
of
of this
November.
month,
Yeah.
we have a free medical camp in Sagar Kuti at 7 bungalows
Okay.
for women. What women lack in today, still living in the city, like B12, thyroid, all about women.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a free medical camp.
How nice. Lovely.
And then we've had several other medical camps which are free. There have been blood donation drives, there have been eye camps, and various other activities like free kitchens.
Mhm.
Then there are classes where we talk about and educate women that the underprivileged people, that they can still give nutritious meals to their children,
Right.
hardly spending any too much of money.
Mhm.
Because as it is, their funds are limited, their budgets are limited.
True.
How do they make, give nutrition in that limited budget to their
Right.
children?
Right.
So there are people who are experts in this field,
Right.
and they are imparting that expertise to them. Then there are self-help groups
Mhm.
for women to, how they can help each other and empowering them. So a lot of work we are doing that.
Very nice. But by profession, you've been an interior decorator.
By default.
Tell us about your journey. Can we rewind a little and go back in time?
It's very strange. My whole life has been not planned at all. And my whole life has been everything by default.
Okay.
But mercifully, by the grace of God, whatever happened by default,
Turned out.
the results are positive.
Yes.
So
that's
I should just knock my head and say I'm grateful
Absolutely.
to God, even though I was by default in capital letters. Even this vice presidentship of Jan Kalyan Samiti has come to me
happened
by default.
Yeah. But then in life you realize most things do happen by default.
And even the Durga Puja, like I said, we were just tossing an idea of a charitable trust.
Right.
And by default, it's just
Yeah.
one of those things.
Yeah.
We first said, okay, we should start everything good by performing a puja, but then it continued.
Yes.
Whenever we thought of now, let us put an end to it. This sankalp for 3 years is over. Somebody or the other would say, please don't do that.
And it's so beautiful now that somebody is me. बिल्कुल मत उसको बंद
Every
करना.
time people would hear the rumors and come to me and say,
Yeah.
we hear you're going to stop. Please don't
Please
do that.
don't.
So by default, the Durga Puja,
We had so much fun.
by default, my being an interior designer,
Yes.
on the job I learned everything because
Did you
what
study
basic-
Did you study the art, or were you a gifted
Well,
designer?
I'm going to be honest, what I studied was just visualizing.
Mhm.
A visualizer. I can visualize, I can have conceptions, I can
But that is where the
conceptualize.
art lies.
I can conceptualize, I can make presentations.
Yes.
And it just so happened that once I never did anything with whatever I knew.
Right.
Because when I got married, I had children and they were little and
Yeah,
there
they
was
needed
hardly
your
any
time,
gap
yeah.
between my children.
Oh.
So I was like any other housewife and I had no ambitions.
Right.
Honestly, I had no ambitions.
Right.
It would be very wrong for me to say, well, I had decided to do this, or I thought I would be doing that, or I wanted to do this. No, I don't think so. I had any ambitions, or I had any
Plan as such.
plans.
Yeah.
Forget about plans. I don't think so. I had any great visions about myself,
Okay.
and I still don't have them.
You planned out very well.
But it so happened that somebody just passed a remark and said that, look, you just sit around doing nothing.
Oh my God.
And my father-in-law was such an achiever,
Yes.
such an achiever, Mr. Shri S. Mukerji.
Ji.
He said that the wives over here just don't do anything,
Hanji.
But it's a big task that they run a house. This
It
is
is.
what he told me.
It is.
He said the housewife's job is the toughest and the biggest.
Yes.
But in their spare time, they should even try to add to their personality.
Of course.
And
How futuristic was
yes,
the thought
add
way
to
back
their
then?
entity. And
Yeah.
something, then circumstances were such that my husband went through some financial
Yes.
constraints.
Yes.
And I said, well, why don't I do something?
Mm-hmm.
So
How did the first? How did you bag your first client?
The first was with a designer, Raja Bajaj,
Okay.
at Bajaj Bhavan. He had these two beautiful stores on the Fifth Avenue in New York, and he was the high market designer, upmarket as they say, for big design stores like Bergdorf Goodman and Halston, Saks and all that. So my husband's CA was his CA, and he said that she can do something. So he invited me over. I just had a chat with him, and he gave me a tobacco pouch to be executed. He said, "Can you execute this tobacco pouch? I'm only giving you the wooden handles in ebony wood.
Yeah.
How would you foresee it? And it has to be in fabric."
Yeah.
So I remember thinking, pondering over it, and going to the Khadi Bhandar.
Yeah.
And saw many fabrics, but I love the texture of 280 grams dupium silk in cinnamon color. And I had a very nice pouch designed, and it had these little silver sticks, which were going through those wooden curved handles. All night I sat and I sewed and I stitched and I fixed the handles. All night I remember. And by the time this sample was ready the next morning, I couldn't contain my excitement. I thought it was crap. And it was compact, quite compact that the man, whoever is smoking a pipe, would want to keep it on his table or his study table or wherever. So I carried it to him and he was amazed. He opened it and he said, "You did it all by yourself. It's not tailor stitched." I said, "I did it by hand because it has to be a sample.
Right.
If you approve of this design, then we can go in for tailor stitch."
Yeah.
He said, "You did it yourself?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, myself." He just couldn't believe it, and he liked it, he saw it, and to give that ambience to it and that flavor to it, I remember buying some tobacco on my way to Nariman Point and stuffing it in.
Oh, nice.
So when he opened it, it smelled heavenly. Tobacco can smell very heavenly.
Very nice.
And he said, "Okay, Mrs. Mukerji, please."
You're on.
And design. And he would give me these Coco Chanel strings, with freshwater pearls and semi-precious stones uncut in odd shapes, and agates cut in odd shapes, and old ivory engraved with scrimshaw, all kinds of things with God, with this, with that. And I would be quite happy sitting there, and I had these workers sitting right here in my office.
Yeah.
And they would doze off also, And I would be quite happy doodling designs, and they would be saying, "Aisa banana, aisa banana." And we had a lot of silver condiments also going inside.
Yeah.
And I think my designs must have turned out good, because the letters he would send whenever he would be in America, or the calls which he would make to us, I want some of those again, what you did. And strangely, I could never repeat the same design. Because
spoken like a designer.
Everything was handcrafted.
Yeah.
So then Rajesh started printing and putting it along with his jewelry design, that as it is handcrafted, there may be a little difference with the design you are buying.
Yeah.
Because
after all, it's handmade.
Different to the
it just reminded me, I picked this bag up. This is a cigar bag. And I especially carried it today. And the minute you spoke about cigar, I brought it up. So it can go back to its place. Coming back to your clients, who were the next set of clients that came in?
Well, then tragedy struck. Raja was sick with cancer, and I think the export house had to be shut down.
Oh.
But I was very low. I didn't want to work anywhere else, because this was like
the perfect
a home away from home.
Right.
And I had very good working hours. Like Raja said, come at 10, 10:30, go at 4. So I had lovely hours, and Raja was a wonderful person working with, and he was very happy with whatever I churned out.
Yeah.
Because then his assistant over there would sometimes write to me, "Raja is so proud of your designs." He tell that, she has done this, she has done that. So that was like.
So there was a lot of job satisfaction you felt?
Yeah, a lot of job satisfaction, and no amount of money could have compensated for that happiness.
I'm sure.
And then coming to the next, it was the Oberoi,
Yeah.
new hotel. The Intercontinental was just finished and they were
Yeah.
starting off with their own property
Yeah.
at the back. At that time it was known as the Oberoi.
Do you? Yeah.
I knew them because they happened to know my father very well, old
Okay.
Mr. Oberoi, and I knew Vicky and the others. And being a Delhi girl, I knew quite a lot of these Delhi people, so, and they all happen to be like extensions of your families,
Right.
associates or friendships.
Right.
So I knew that they were doing this.
Right.
And I just one day sauntered in, and his grandson, Big Daddy, as everyone called him, Mohan Singh Oberoi, his grandson Ashok Khanna was heading this new project. So, hi Ashok, how are you? This, that, chatting away. And he said, hey, good, you had walked in. I said, why? While chatting with him and having a cup of tea or coffee or God knows what I was having at that point, in his office, one of our project person is leaving. She is going with her husband to America. Why don't you look after the projects?
Wow.
And
So this just came in your lap. Lovely.
By default.
By default.
Because the lady who was there, her husband got an opportunity in America and she was going with him. So the vacancy was there.
Yeah.
I didn't apply.
Yeah.
And neither did they.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about this one.
And then?
But
I've seen I've seen your interiors. I love your interiors here.
No, the designer was from CSA, Chandu Chadda and Dr. Shamilya, but we would take on the spot many decisions.
Right.
So half the time, sometimes the designer sends you the design, which is not possible at the site.
Right.
So you take your spot decisions and do it.
Correct.
But the fabrics, the textures, the artwork, the purchases of all the antique doors over there, the windows and whatnot, whatever goes into
compiling the look.
Everything.
Yeah.
Projects and developments.
Right.
And Projects and Development Office has two wings, the interiors and the civil work. Civil work was headed by Colonel Tehliani, who is an uncle of Tarun Tehliani, who was an ex-army man, ex-army man. And I was one of the persons over there for the interiors and the fabrics and everything.
Perfect.
It was a big project. I just said, like a lark, yes. But the worries came to me at night when I was alone. I said, how dare? How could I have done this? What do I know? What do I know about this? What am I going to do? Now when I go to the office, everyone is going to make fun of me and laugh at me. I have just done jewelry and accessories for Raja because Raja was there. And, this is so different. It so happened the first few days, nobody had any inkling, and this other lady was explaining to me, because before anyone leaves, they tell the new person, this is what
this is the
and
brief.
it's like handing over.
Right.
And I kept a straight face nodding, thinking I know so much, And there were these secretaries by and one other Sophia. Then there were these Lakhani assistant, and then the planters, and then the Swati. They seemed to know more about me because they all had passed out from the College of Architecture and Interiors. And here I am sitting senior, and I did not know what to, but nobody could get. And it so happened that one of those days, Big Daddy came to his property. There used to be regular, project meetings. And when he realized whose daughter I was, he wanted to talk to me. He said, oh, you're a basic studies doctor? In my organization? I said, yes. And he at once came to Punjabi and he started telling me about my grandfather and my father and their villages, times they spent together in the village. And how my father was his first shareholder in the Simla hotels and the Calcutta hotels. And I said, yes. So where are you? And looking at me, he thought I must be in the marketing or the front desk operations. I said, marketing front office? I said, no. He said, so then where are you? I said, projects and developments. Projects and developments is always in the basement. But a huge city-like thing, you know. He said, down there? He said, yes. You? I said, yes. He said, so my dear, what are you going to do for us? I just didn't know where to look, and I remember I had this roll around me. In those days, we often wore chudidar kurtas, often cap. That was the dress code for work.
The uniform to work.
So I just started twisting it like this, and
Sense
I
of
said,
nervousness?
Big Daddy, I don't know anything about this work, and I don't think so I should be here. It would not be wrong if you just fired.
How sweet and innocent.
So he just looked at me and he said, in Punjabi, he said, Kuriye, what are you doing with the Oberois if you are going to say no? In our organization, we don't have a word called no.
Superb.
You say yes,
and you
I
do
can
it.
do it.
Lovely.
And then make it a point to learn everything while on job.
Superb.
And don't you let me catch you sulking around with your tail between your legs and you know, just like saying I can't do it. I do not like such people in my organization. And I should now only see you next meeting if there is some results. That thing has become a motto with me for the rest of my life.
It was a turning point.
It was a turning point. I would not go for lunch during the executive breaks. I would take little gifts for Sathi, Lakhani and Fernandez. And I would say, how long will you take for your lunch? And they would tell me, we have an hour, 1 hour long, ma'am. Can you not finish in 15 minutes or 20 minutes? They would just look at me like, cafeteria of the hotel is very, very crowded, ma'am. I said, what if I put in a word that you should leave early? I will give you 10 to 15 minutes early lunch break. Go there. I spoke to the person in charge of the cafeteria. These people will be coming from projects and development. Let them have an early lunch and come back. So they came back. What is she up to? Is she going to make us work extra? Nobody would be there around that time. Not that I cared. Even if there were people, I wouldn't really care. And they became my teachers.
Oh, sweet.
I didn't hesitate learning from them how to read a drawing.
Yes.
How to supersede it.
Right.
How to take the measurements on the side vis-a-vis the drawing.
Right.
If the drawing says 9 feet, how do I interpret it? That 9 feet on a drawing which is just ammonia print this big, what does 9 feet come to?
Right.
So everything I slowly learned from them. And I started reading drawings on my own. I kept a register in which the whole hotel was locked. I had pages devoted to the carpeting, pages devoted to the curtains, even the wood finishes and little samples stuck in that register which would be closed like, shut like that, you know. And the whole hotel. Anyone asked me anything, I would just think and say, this is the polish we have, or this is the texture of the carpet, this is the texture of and the color of the curtains, this is the granite we have, these are the suppliers, these are
So you became master of the game.
Yes, not the master. I wouldn't say master because there are bigger masters.
Yeah, but in your scenario. But in your scenario.
In my own field, at least, I would say I justified my presence.
Right.
In this prestigious, high organization like East India Hotels, which is the parent company of the chain of Oberois, which is so professional.
True.
They are known by 2 words, professional and perfection. So they are double P.
Double P. Absolutely.
So I justified my presence.
Absolutely.
That is how I learned. By the time the project ended, I had learned a lot. And I'm grateful for that project. And I'm very grateful to the chain of Oberois for being such teachers. I think whoever joins them because they are basically teachers, It's an institute in itself. So what you learn over there
stays with
on
you
the
forever.
site or in the operations anywhere. You probably don't learn that in any institute or college or university,
Sure.
because everything else is a written theory.
Yes.
Over
This was
there
a
it is
practical.
on hands-on
hands.
experience, which works for you.
Absolutely. So how long did the interior design or project management journey continue in your life?
Well, it continued for a good 20 years. I've done some major. Then I floated my own company, and which is called Art Creators. And Neelam Hotel were my first client. The Benter Group was there. They were in collaboration with the Benter Group. Bernard Saunders was there.
Before the Kempinski came in. Yeah.
So I did work over there. But then when I walked into Neelam Hotel, quite a bit of work had already been done. So I took over that. Then after that, under Art Creators, I did a lot of other private work. I did specialty restaurants in Germany and New York, and a seaside hotel in Germany.
Wow, that must have been fun.
I was pitted against the world's best people. So this was like being in an institute and learning. I always went with a very open mind and open heart. And I always thought, in the whole scheme of things and the whole wide, big perspective, I am nothing but a speck.
Of course,
because I would really be dwarfed
so true.
with the knowledge and the masters who would walk in over there. The lighting consultants were the best, and the civil work people were the best, the architects were the best, and the designers were the best, the interior designers. True. So one felt like a little speck. So the best thing is, forget about what you made materially. The best thing is what you gained from them and what you learned from them. So all this also happened by default, because I had no plans going abroad.
Correct.
But just because I happened to get this work, it fell in my lap, the Neelam Hotel. Captain Nair just one day walked into the Oberoi, loved the work over there, and he said, who's the person in charge? And it was one of our suppliers, imagine our suppliers, who said, Husseini, his name is, and he had a very big antique outlet just behind the Taj. So he said, Captain Nair, it is a lady called Mrs. Mukerji. So he several times tried to meet him, and many times, I was not there, or I didn't know who Captain Nair was, and didn't return the calls or whatever. Because the date was nearing to hand over the Oberoi to the operations for the soft openings. And I was too, like we would work 18 hours a day. And finally, when I did meet him, it just fell. And who? Because Husseini, the antique supplier, who also gave few pieces to them and was also one of our suppliers. It's not again as though I was called for or I went
so again,
there.
it was just a natural progression.
Wonderful things. And similarly, that's how I landed abroad. The person who was with the Penta said, okay, if you are looking for specialty restaurants, then these are specialty restaurants, are more like boutique restaurants. The person has to be specialized. Let's call the person in. I have full faith. And I had no faith in myself, but they had faith in me.
So what is meant to be is meant to be.
So by everything. Similarly, one of my very prestigious projects, which was a private estate of Dr. N.G. Reddy in Hyderabad. And he was the owner of Dr. Reddy's land.
Right.
He saw the work at Oberoi. One of the architects, Mr. Rao, who's a very big name in South India, very big architect. He was told about my work. So he mentioned it to Mr. Reddy because he was Mr. Reddy's architect. Mr. Reddy came to Bombay and found out who I was and some of the other I was. And then one thing led to another. But believe me, whatever I did, I wouldn't say, I'm not going to be a hypocrite to say, well, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, I did it, because a sense of responsibility and discipline were there. Okay, now that I have this, I might as well do it to the best of my ability.
Yes, absolutely.
But it wasn't a planned move.
Yeah.
It wasn't something which I had thought about while growing up.
Yeah.
Like I said, that it wasn't even in my
it was
in my
not on your
wildest
agenda.
dreams that I could have done this.
Right.
And like by the records of what others say, to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
And the day when I felt I have done enough of it and every day I'm going to be doing the same thing, I just called it quits. I said, no, I don't want to do it. I've done enough. I don't want to do it.
Are you happy with that decision now? Would you like to go back to it?
No, people don't leave you. It's like what we say in the Mukerji. After I said I am not accepting turnkey operations for any interior work, people said, please, consultation, come to our site for people.
True.
And they would, say, offer
Yeah.
large, absolutely wild amounts. And the more you say, no, I don't want
The
to,
more they after you.
the more the amount is raised.
Wow.
So you just say, "Okay, am I worth that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never thought I was that good." So I would say, okay, let me just do the consultancy, and I would choose and select. At least I had that privilege to say no to what I didn't want to do, and yes to what I wanted to do.
Right.
There was no compulsion for me now to do it. My husband had solved all his problems. He was out of the blues,
Yeah.
as they say,
Yeah.
out of the forest, out of the woods.
Yeah.
And there was no compulsion, and the children were growing.
Yes.
And I felt, well, no, I don't want to do this. I wanted to do other things in life. If left to me, I would be doing nothing but except wandering. I am basically a wanderer.
Traveler.
Not a traveler.
Just a wanderer. Okay.
I can walk aimlessly anywhere. Traveler is something else.
Yeah.
You travel, you enjoy. And
Yeah.
I have traveled extensively also, which my husband has too. But believe me, when you travel, you make plans, state of cuts.
Yes. A wanderer just drifts. Yeah.
I mean, what I enjoy the most is something you have not planned, and you just went there, and you just went for a walk and you discovered something. It's strange that during my morning walks or my long walks, sometimes I just decide to walk from here to Andheri station through the by lanes and all kinds of lanes which may not be very familiar with everyone.
Right.
I have discovered the most beautiful old houses, lovely architecture.
Yeah.
Or I have discovered things which I
You
may have
wouldn't
passed
have
that
thought
way
otherwise. Yeah.
100 times,
Right.
but I never saw that before.
Right.
So I'm basically like that. I like to be left alone. I hardly ever get lonely. I get very irritated if I'm having that time where I'm sitting alone doing nothing but staring at the walls or maybe the ceiling or having random thoughts and somebody comes and my husband also had the same nature.
Right.
So what all I have been doing is contrary to what I am. I met so many people during my work. I met people who were corporate honchos, they were owners, they were presidents, contractors, workers on the site, carpenters, tailors,
all kinds, the entire hierarchy, bottom to the top. Right.
It would be like a big crowd,
Right.
that I just then avoided socializing.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew them.
Yeah.
A huge crowd I knew, huge crowd of humanity.
Right.
But I couldn't call anyone my friend.
True.
They are your working associates or somebody
Colleagues,
acquaintances.
but not
Now during Durga Puja, my Shivranjani work, I come across a lot of people.
Right.
Now even during the Jan Kalyan ceremony.
Yeah.
But I don't forge friendships like that.
Right.
For me, friendships are very few. Somebody you can get along with, somebody you can understand. And those very few friends are the
your
types
inner
which
circle.
you can really talk
Or relate
count on
to.
your
Yes,
fingertips.
absolutely. I agree.
But I know people and I admire this quality in other people where they have such a wide circle of social life and friends.
But then again, they are not friends, like you
and
rightly
they never
mentioned.
get tired PUBG. I sometimes get invited and I do want to go out. I have 100% intentions of going out. But where's the time when the hour comes near, my mind starts working. do I really need
Want
to
to
go?
go there? Do I really need to?
So I would just fabricate an excuse
It happens
and
to
then feel very happy.
happens to the best of us. Tell me, how has a Delhi girl, how did she reach Mumbai fast?
Why Delhi girls can reach anywhere?
Of course,
After
but
they
what
get
was
married, they can reach anywhere.
no. My question is, how did you come to Mumbai? With marriage, before marriage, after marriage? What
Well,
was
I
the?
can say
How did you
during-
meet Joy? Okay.
I met Joy, which is our first love, books, in a bookshop at the Oberoi Hotel, Delhi.
Okay.
I went for a shampoo with a friend of mine, and he was buying books. I was going to buy birthday cards.
He was already Joy the actor, or this is
Actually,
before
he was
that?
Joy, the famous actor.
Oh.
And he had come for some, I don't know whether, he had come for some permissions from the defense for his war film,
Okay.
which he had produced and directed.
Okay.
And Joy, everyone knew, after I was married to him also I knew, when Joy was not working or shooting, you could locate him in any bookshop.
Ah.
His favorite bookshops were one at the Strand in Colaba and one at Breach Cafe.
Ah.
And those people would give him a cozy corner which would not be visible to
To the
other people.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would keep bringing piles and piles of books. They knew the type of books he liked and he would be just browsing. And he would order like 70 books at a time, 100 books at a time. And when he would go abroad, he would buy plays in England or books and get them packed in crates and ship them to India. And the most unfortunate and saddest part is he never got time to read anything.
Oh my
By
God.
the time he retired and he got time to read,
Yeah.
they were all in his father's studio, Himalayas, the
Yeah.
crate.
Hmm.
Got them opened up, half of them were eaten by termites.
Oh my God.
So that was the saddest
So
point
sad.
in Joy's life, that
Yeah.
he lost some beautiful books this way.
Yeah.
And then we never, both Joy and I never liked loaning our books to people because they would never return. And Joy had this dirty habit of making dog corners.
Oh.
Where I would use
Me too,
proper
bookmark.
So I would never give my books.
To him.
Even if we wanted to read the same book, if
Yeah.
I bought, I would buy 2 copies. If Joy bought, he would buy 2
Oh
copies.
my God.
You know, one for you, one for me.
How sweet.
And some known people or close relatives, extended family or friends would take our books and never return. And that would be a sore point with us, you know, though we were nice to them, but we would always remember that he's taken that book of mine and never returned.
How sweet.
Similarly, he was very fond of music and I'm very fond of music.
Mm.
And he had a very large, beautiful collection of Western music, Latin American music, and Trini Lopez and golden records of Elvis, and Richard Burton's reciting Shakespeare sonatas.
Oh, lovely.
Beautiful speeches by Martin Luther King also.
Mhm.
And whenever he had little time, he had these books strewn around him in the bedroom and this thing going on, and the music going on.
Yeah.
That was the happiest and the most peaceful time Joy would have.
Oh.
How much of each book he has written?
That's besides the point.
besides the point.
That happens to the best of us.
So that's
So your common ground of meeting was books,
a
music,
bookshop.
a bookshop.
So that is it. And then of course the normal thing, one thing leads to
another.
You got married and you come to Bombay
Yeah.
during the process.
Being in a film family, did you ever aspire to also be a part of the legacy in terms of acting? I believe you told me the last time that you acted in one film which won the national award. So tell us a little about that.
It's very strange, but when I came to Bombay and Joy would take me out for dinners or any you know, which he had to attend.
Yeah.
Producers would just come walking to me without even knowing, you know,
yeah.
Joy is steady or Joy is engaged or we are getting married.
Yeah.
Will you act in films? I would get these offers at the airports if I'm waiting for a flight. People would go, are you working in films? I have been signing in autographs without being anybody.
I don't believe this.
And when you tell them I'm nobody, but you must be somebody.
You said, okay, yes. Fair enough, I am.
Like I was asked once, you know, the early days of our courtship, Joy drove us to Taluja because some biryani shack.
No, there's very
and I, being a vegetarian, wouldn't have, but he would have.
You're a vegetarian, Neelam?
Yes.
Even now?
Yes. Right from the
I
beginning.
didn't know this.
And Joy then said, just sit in the car, I'll join you. Maybe he wanted to, you know, be in the bushes or whatever. Another car of youngsters drove in and parked, and I think they were coming from the Khandala or something. They started staring, and then they said, are you an actress? So I said, no.
But that must have felt so good, no?
Then you must be a model. I said, no. Then you must be an air hostess. I said, no. You must be somebody. Can I have your autograph? So I just could sign my name.
Lovely.
I have done that in cities like Bhubaneswar, when I was doing relief work in Kadilong, at the airport, Amritsar.
Oh, nice.
So I just I would get a lot of offers, in fact my own father-in-law. And he was like absolutely, you know, he couldn't believe it that I wanted to marry Joy. So he said, oh, he was absolutely, you know, taken aback for this. He said, you must be crazy. I want to make a film with you.
Really?
I said, no, I want to marry your son. I would marry your son.
How sweet.
So he was, you know, like, he said, well, if you have to marry him, then that's a different issue. But I have got rights for this film called Romance of the View. It's a Czechoslovakian film. And I'm going to make a film called Bhagavati. Before he even came to know that I wanted to marry Joy, I was at the studio. So how were they going to explain my presence there? They said, oh, well, she's the new girl, his cousin, who with Joy was very close to his first cousin, Ram Mukerji. So Ram Mukerji said to Baba, you know, we are taking a test. She's a new girl we discovered in Delhi. So there was a shooting going on in Himalayas, and they just said, let's do makeup and I mean, they went to that extent, and I said, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So the next time, when again I went to the studio, and Baba called me and he just said, held, you know, my face like that up, tilted it up, being a producer himself, and you know, being
and a visionary.
absolutely a person with the magic touch.
Absolutely.
And I call him the Bhishma Pitama of film industry. He said, you have natural style and glamour in you, which very few have. You will be a star. I said, that is the time I should now. This lie cannot go on. So I said, no. I am getting married to Joy.
Oh my God. You must have been taken aback, shocked.
It didn't ring a bell. And then he said, what? Then he turned back and he said, let's sit and have a chat. And he called me to his office. He said, he listened to me patiently, and then I remember that everyone laughed at it, and Joy was the one who laughed loudest. He said, I want to understand. I'm offering you a film.
And here you are.
You have the world at your feet. And you want to marry? Why do you want to marry this jackass? And I was so mortified. I said, you're calling Joy a jackass? He's not a jackass. He's a very nice person. And we are getting married. And I told him, I haven't come across a father who called his son a jackass. And when I was getting up and going, he said, I will add another thing to it. Joy has the brain of a bird and the stomach of a mouse. I said, now that's rather insulting with you, you know. He said, you can call me Baba.
So it was done.
Yeah, so that means
the deal was sealed.
He said, you can call me Baba. I said, that is not a nice thing to say. That's not fair. I turned back and I was saying, and what else would I have done? He said, you can call me Baba. I said, okay, Baba. You know, and I walked out and told Joy, and they were laughing about it. And I couldn't understand what was so funny about it. But it turned into a joke, you know, and Joy would always love to
smile and laugh about it. So before I let you go, there's one thing.
And you know, there was a film written for me, especially for me.
Tell us.
Yes.
Huh.
There was this.
By Baba?
Not by Baba, by another producer director who was very, another big name in the industry, Ram Maheshwari. When he met me, he just took it for granted that I would be working because Joy's editor, Mr. Pai, who was also their editor for Neelam and other films, conveyed to them that I am the right person for that role. So whenever he would see, and because of Mr. Pai and because Joy knew Mr. Maheshwari, they would often come to our penthouse at Neelam Road. And he would just look at me, and I would always wonder why he looks at me and keeps nodding at the writer and Mr. Pai. Oh, this will look good on her, and that's what will
So
good
they
on
were,
her.
yeah.
I would not get him to you. And then it was, he was writing a Punjabi film, which was a great big hit called Nanak Naam Jahaz Hai.
And they had you in mind.
And because I hail from a Sodhi family,
Yeah.
and Sodhi's 7 gurus are from the Sodhi, so they thought I was the right choice.
Right.
And being a Sardar girl, they never asked me if I was going to do it, they never asked Joy. And just before the Muhurat, they told Joy, Neelam is going to do this film. Let her do this one film, Joy, and let her not do any other film. Because this is not a romantic film, this is not a commercial film, this is Nanak Naam Jahaz Hai. My politician uncle in Amritsar, when he heard about it, he immediately called from Amritsar and said, do it. Do it. Because he is such an astute Sikh. He was a vegetarian. He would wake up 4 in the morning and go to the Golden Temple and take a dip in the tank. He was the custodian for the temple. He was a very religious person. But he saying do it means that.
But the biggest signal, yeah.
Yes.
Green signal. Yeah.
Papa couldn't care less because Papa was from the British Army and he had taken a voluntary retirement and jumped into the freedom fight. So Papa was, for him it was a laugh. My daughter, she first breaks all the norms and gets married to a Bengali. Now this is the talk I hear. Somewhere on the line, I think Joy was to be blamed because Joy kept telling them I would be doing it.
He did.
I think he must have.
Okay.
He never admitted it to me. And the day before Muhurat, even when, just few days before the Muhurat, they even made my costumes to my size.
Okay.
And I was thinking, Mera naam leke costumes ban rahe hain. Joy, are you sure? Joy would just laugh.
Huh.
And Joy was shooting in Kashmir, and Mr. Maheshwari and Mr. Pai even went to Kashmir, and I think they came back with an understanding that it would be done. But what appalled me the most was that one day before the Muhurat, Joy said no.
Reason?
I have no idea.
You
I
didn't?
never discussed things which I, So I never did that film, and last minute, the 9th hour, they went running and they found Vimy to replace me, and some of the other, my costumes were either loosened or tightened or whatever, and the Chief Minister of Punjab came for the Muhurat shot. They categorically made it a point to invite Joy for the trial once the film was over and about to release. And Joy comes home whistling and tells me, oh my God, you missed one of the biggest hits. I think you should have done this film. I just looked up at him, you are the one who said no. He said, you know what, Neelam, I think you should have done this film. And when Nanak Naam Jahaz Hai released, my uncle called me, I wish you had done this because
But then he said even before.
Yeah, and in our family they call us Sahib, so he said, Sahib, I wish you had done this. Because people were taking off their shoes and going into the theatres and they were, it was the film. And of course my political uncle probably had other things in mind because he thought if I had done that film, I could have, he would have launched me because he was a very big name in politics from Punjab.
Yeah.
He was very close to Atalji, who has been the president of BJP Punjab and member of parliament and like that, and had a big say in Punjab politics. So he probably had his own. But honestly, I'm surprised when I go back in retrospect, when I try to search my inner, do I regret it? I don't know. But when I told this story to my children, my oldest son, one day reacted to it and he said, Mom, I wish you had done something with that.
Yeah.
All my life I have been offered films. In my younger days, even when I had children, even when they were growing, when I would be going to Dehradun to fetch them, and at the airport, some producer would walk with his unbuttoned printed silk shirt, then here with hair, and with that typical filmy look with pointed shoes and throwing pipes and saying, you work in my film, you know, that sort of thing. One of them was you know,
but such a redeeming feeling whether you did it or not.
Produced, you know, what was that film which Shabbi Kapoor later on produced? A lot of films, Rajkumar and all these films. So all my life I have been actually receiving offers. And whenever I would be at outdoor shootings with Joy and they would be giving shots, people would think I have something to do with the film and come to me, autograph freely, even though I was.
You have that kind of personality. Why?
At the age of 47, we went for dinner at somebody's house, and Gautam Ghosh was there. At Manmohan Shetty's house, Mr. Shetty's house. He was showing his beautiful documentary, The Silk Route to China. Very lovely, engrossing documentary made by Gautam Ghosh, who is a friend of mine, and an AKB 11 National Award winner, the best cinematographer India has, and director and producer. I knew him casually because he was very well known to my childhood, you know, my bum chum, whom I say one of my closest friends. Like I said, you have very few close friends, and one of them is Suresh Jindal in Delhi, who made these films like Shatranj Ke Khiladi, Katha, Rajnigandha, and was associate producer on Gandhi, Richard Attenborough. I had met Veer several times there, you know, with Suresh and all, so I knew him casually. But next morning, 9 a.m., the landline rings and Veer tells Joy picked up the phone and said, yes, this is Veer speaking, AKB speaking. Yes, Mr. Veer. I have a script. Will Neelam do this for me? Joy was so taken aback. Joy said, oh my God. So Joy said, let Neelam, she's not in now. She's at a yoga class, so let her come. I'll ask her to give you a call. So I returned the call and he invited me for lunch and I went for lunch. It took him 3 months to convince me I should do it. And he gave me the script and I passed on the script without opening the first page to my daughter. And my daughter read it and said, Mommy, it's a beautiful script, beautiful. Then Suresh one day called me and said, how dare you give such bad time to Veer? Who do you think you are? Hema Malini? Who do you think you are? How dare you give him this bad time? It's been over 3 months and you know we have limited budgets. We are not Bollywood producers who have these things and we tolerate your tantrums. Why don't you say yes to his film? I said, okay, don't shout at me, I will. So I called Veer up and I said, I'll do it. And I ended up doing that film.
That's the one that won the national award?
I thought I'd do the film. And when we were to shoot for 18 days in Orissa in Cuttack, a small village near Cuttack called Nishchant Koeli. Koeli, I suppose, is the Koel. Nishchant means peaceful. On the banks of River Mahim. But, you know, as luck would have it, Michael Jackson was here. And they were leaving the same day.
Yeah, I remember.
And they were leaving the same day, so I told Veer, may I ask you something? He said, now what is she going to come out with? I said, can I not come tomorrow? He said, I said, I want to watch Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
it
in
is
fact,
once in a lifetime.
In fact, Joy, Kittu and me were also going to go for that
But Joy went there.
Yeah, I don't know, we didn't go eventually.
I don't know why you didn't come.
I don't know why we didn't come.
But we were there and Joy couldn't believe it I'd done it, and Veer is such a, you know, he's more like a Sufi person. Like a, you know, absolutely a Sufi. He just said, okay, if it's a once in a lifetime thing,
do it.
and please attend it and fly out tomorrow.
Yeah.
The rest of the unit left, and I went a day late. So Michael Jackson, I attended the concerts, and as it ended so late, and I had an early morning flight to Bhubaneswar via Hyderabad. It was going to make a halt at Hyderabad. So it took my whole day. Didn't sleep the whole night. Joy was with me sitting at the St. John coffee shop, which was the airport center hotel. And we just talked through the whole, the couple of hours which we had till my flight and took off. Then I was at Hyderabad for 2-3 hours, and the Padmalia people were called who were known to my husband, and they took me for lunch and dropped me back again at the airport. By the time I reached Bhubaneswar, then from Bhubaneswar I had this car ride to Cuttack. So by the time, I think I didn't ride to Cuttack, it was in Bhubaneswar. So the whole day was gone and I had not slept. So I just crashed, I just went to sleep. They kept knocking my door, but I was fast asleep. They kept knocking the next day, and somewhere I surfaced a little after, around about 3, early evening, 3:30. Then patiently, the person who was to take me to the shooting location was waiting down. And what was a real pleasant surprise and very thoughtful of my husband, he sent one of the houseboys, our staff, a day before. No, not with me. I didn't even know that this houseboy was traveling with the unit to take care of me. He was also there. When I opened the bedroom door, I find my houseboy Sunil there. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Stop."
How thoughtful.
I thought that was such a thoughtful gesture on part of my husband that till today I remember that maybe very few people would have done that. He would take care of my clothes, he would do everything for me. And then I met those people who were waiting for me down. I said, "I'm so sorry. I really am sorry, but this is what happened. I saw that show, it ended middle of the night, and then my flight was early morning, so those made no sense to sleep a couple of those hours." I told them the truth. And they said, "Oh, that's okay. I crashed." I said, and they said, "That is okay." So
as long
instead
as
of
doing
one day, I wasted 2 days.
That's okay.
So they said, "Please have tea, have you eaten something, eat something, take your time. Today you just rest, tomorrow morning now we'll take you to the location." And I was so happy Sunil was there to do everything for me. And then early morning I was ready, and we would drive every time to Western Korea and back. And that was an experience. And then after the shooting I went to have darshan at, the temple, which is the famous Puri temple, and then Gehna.
Orissa.
And this film, I forgot about it. I thought it was a good experience. Let's forget about it.
Been there, done that.
Did it? Came back. But in between, every time we would do he's a very, very cautious, careful and a hard-working director, and all-giving director. He gives in his all to the person. And he says the actors have to be treated like eggshells, like in velvet glove, with a velvet gloves, because they have to emote in front of the camera.
True.
So that was the biggest quality I noticed about Veer. But after rehearsing, he would just take the shot and say, "Okay." Very rarely did he would tell the other actors, cut and one take. In my case, when my portion came, he would just say, rehearse and then say, "Okay, cut."
So maybe you were naturally good.
No, I got a big complex. I said, others are getting to do 3 to 4 times, and for me, he's just shooting once and saying, "Okay, cut." So that night when I came back from my shoot, I dialed. In those days, we had these STD or lightning cord, and we didn't have the mobile phones, the cell phones. I called Joy home. I said, "Joy, either I'm not good enough or I'm too good, because this is what my director does. He just does the rehearsal and then he tells me, okay, cut. Why isn't he taking 2-3 shots with me when he does with the others? Joy listened to it patiently and he said, my dear girl, now that you are there, I'm warning you, don't you dare give bad time to your director. He's not only your producer, he is your director also, and he is the captain of the ship, and you do exactly what he says to you. How dare you do that? By questioning him? I said, I'm telling you, not him. He said, well, I'm telling you. Perhaps he's getting what he wants out of you.
Exactly.
Now, how good you are or how bad you are, I wouldn't know.
Correct.
I'm sitting here.
Right.
But don't you dare give him a bad time or question him. Do exactly what your director tells you, and I'm telling you this as a parting shot. Neil, and you know, he said, Neelam Mukerji, you're not a very big Bollywood or Hollywood heroine. So you stop throwing these tantrums and asking such stupid, irrelevant questions. My parting shot to you, advice to you is, that was his parting shot, but he said advice, trust your director.
True.
And that was it. So I was very confused. I said, talk to your husband and he's of no help. And despite his parting shot, I went next day and at lunch break, I found him discussing something with his cameraman, with his art director and the lighting person, and yet I had the audacity to go there and tap his shoulder, but I did have this good sense that I should say, I need to talk to you, are you free to talk? And he said, yes, I am. But I didn't have the good sense to tell him that can we talk separately or privately. So I said, we. He said, yes. And I said the whole thing to him, what I told my husband. I said, you are not taking 3-4 shots with me. You are saying, okay, for first shot only after rehearsal. What is this? He said, because Neelam, he patted my hand. I said, Neelam, because I'm getting what I want from you. And believe me, the camera, he was his own camera person. He would carry the camera on his shoulder.
Wow.
Be
And he knows best.
I said, okay, you mean to say that this is done? He said, well, in some cases it is done. I said, but are you annoyed? He said, no, I'm not annoyed because I know you are not a professional actress and you didn't do it on deliberate.
Correct.
It's not as though you were trying to belittle me or insult.
Not at all.
You have done it because you do not know about this profession, even though you belong to a certain family, but you're not. I said, okay. After that, you know, my respect for this person was
multifold, yeah.
And by the time I finished the film, I thought I was a veteran. You know, one of those novices who thinks I'm a veteran. So when I came back to Bombay, I forgot about it, and I said, no one will go to see the film. NFDC are the producers, so I'm happy no one will go. So even if I perform badly, no one will come to know about it. But what do you know? One bright fine day I get a call and Bill tells me we are going to have special screenings at NCPA and some other theatres at Nehru Center. I just made it and you have to be there because the press would be there. I just made, I don't know what excuse and didn't go. But my younger son was so thrilled. And he actually dressed for it. He thought it was a premiere. I said, no, these films don't have a premiere.
Right.
But nevertheless, Sujoy dressed and he said, well, I'm going to go and see your film. And he went to see it and he came back and he said, Mom, I loved your film. It's a beautiful film. And I dare not ask him how was I because I was scared what he would say. He said, Mom, you could have been a very good actress. You could have been a professional actress. Okay, fine. And we forgot about it. But Joy's antenna stood up. He said, oh, he hadn't seen the film, only my younger son had got. thereafter, then this film started creating a buzz, and then one bright fine day, Veer calls me and tells me, Shesh Drishti, as the film is called, has been selected amongst the 13 films for the Indian Panorama screening at the International Film Festival.
Wow.
This film did very well in the international film festivals, even in other countries. And one of the French writers who met me there, who is a film writer, told me that he's immortalized me. And then I said, Marshall, how? How have you immortalized me? He said, you are in my book. And it was such a big book, tome. He opened that chapter about Indian cinema and he showed me this still of me over there with Sharat Pujari, who's one of the famous actors of Orissa, like Ashok Kumarji was over here, like that. And that's still there, and Shesh Drishti. And I asked him in English, this is in French, will you ever write this book be translated
into English?
He said, I don't know. I said, then it's of no use to me. Then I asked him, I said, please tell me, did you see the portions of the Haveli where I, as a Thakurayan, am living with my broke husband, trying to make the ends meet in the best possible way with dignity? He said, you know, those portions are lyrical. And they were like paintings. The lighting is so good. The color of the simple cotton sarees stand out. And absolutely good. That is lyrical.
Beautiful.
So I
Lovely.
felt very good, and I felt good for me. And then came the news that the film has won the National Award and the best film on national integrity. So Joy tells me the first film at the age of 47 you do in your life,
And it wins
and you
an
win
award.
the national, and the film wins the national award.
That is the luck
So
factor.
I think all by default, all luck. Like I said, I never wanted to be an actress, but people
It all
keep
happened.
approaching me
How
and
nice.
saying,
How nice.
would you like to act in film? And that is how this film was done.
Right.
And once it was screened at the festival, I only got 2 offers from outside India. One was from Israel and one from Russia. But I was too busy with my projects in Hyderabad that I said, no, I'm not a professional actress.
Yes.
So somebody commented, you know, others would have given their left arm and let you do it. And I said, because I'm not a professional actress. And I don't even regret it. I did something, fine, that's it, end of the story. And very low profile. When Veer told me and others told me that it's won the national award, or when you have finished this film, talk to the press or give your interviews, I just didn't.
So that is you.
Bother about
Neelam
my
Mukerji.
And others kept ringing and telling me they saw my film in Calcutta Festival or this festival or that festival, and it's so good, it's so nice, but I'm happy for you. And that was the end of it. And now when I meet Veer, I said, Veer, what did you title your film? Shesh Drishti, the last vision. Now it is the last vision.
So lovely. It's been lovely talking to you, Neelam. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Gehna.
No,
And where is that mug of yours?
It's there, it's there. We'll
Gehna.
do some promos, it's right here. We'll do some promos. Thank you so much.
They had model numbers.